Hi, I'm Jenny of Renew Socials, and in today's video we're going to be making this fantastic upcycled Christmas stocking. I'm working alongside RevivOL, who are promoting creativity and thrift within the community to prevent the excessive buying of clothing and reusing when we can. A PDF of today's tutorial is in the notes, and any further information, pop over to my website www.renewsocials.co.uk or RevivOL's Facebook page, spelled RevivOL. To make a Christmas stocking, you will need some paper for the pattern. I'm using leftover Christmas wrapping paper, but you could use wallpaper, newspaper, anything that's big enough really. You need your fabric for your stocking. I'm going to use an old and worn and a bit torn Christmas jumper, but you could use anything that's quite firm. I wouldn't use anything with stretch because then it's just going to keep stretching and stretching, which might be good if you want to put lots of presents in, but this hasn't got a little bit of stretch but not much, so that'll be fine. And some ribbon, that's so you can hang your stocking up. First thing we're going to do is make our pattern for our stocking. So I'm going to unroll the leftover Christmas paper. Really was leftover, there was just a tiny bit left, and put some weight on the corners. Random things from around me. Okay, and we're going to draw our stocking. It doesn't have to be too precise, but we want the actual body of the sock to be longer than you need, because so we've got space for a cuff to fold down. And this looks quite big, so I'm just going to check it's going to fit in my jumper. And it's not, so I'm going to make it smaller. And we're going to cut that out. So here is our pattern. You can see it's going to fit nicely within the jumper. So I'm going to turn my jumper inside out. And we don't have to use a jumper. Old Christmas fleece blankets would be great. Curtain material, anything really. Denim would be really good as well, like you get a nice sturdy one then. And there we have our jumper. So we want to keep, it's got this lovely Christmassy pattern, so if we can, I want to try and keep that in the middle of the stocking. So I'm going to put it just about there. I'm going to pin that in place. Now with this jumper, because it's knitted, if we cut it out, it'll unravel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the pattern onto the jumper, sew it, and then cut it out. If you're not doing a jumper, if you're doing something like fleece, you don't have to worry about that unraveling, or if you're doing just plain cotton, you don't have to worry about the unraveling. So you can draw your line, cut it out around, so you're leaving your seam allowance, and then sew it. But because it is knitted, it will just unravel. Right. I'm using a Crayola pen. I always use these for marking my fabrics, even though it gets all over my fingers, because it's washable and they're much cheaper than fabric pens. It's not going to show up amazingly, I don't think, on this fabric, but it'll be enough for me to, I hope, but we'll see. So we take our pins out. Yeah, see that? So can you see that line? Quite faint. It's definitely there. So I'm just going to pin the fabric together, especially because it's quite slidey. So we're sewing. I'm going to leave the top open, so all the way down around the toe and all the way back to the top, leaving that bit completely open. Okay, so we have sewn the stocking. You can see it a little bit better on that side. So I'm going to cut that out now. You'll see what I mean by the fraying. Pins out. So can you see how it's like coming apart? It's not too bad actually, but it's going to be worse. Remember, you can hand stitch this as well. It doesn't need to be done on the sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, just please do a hand stitch. Recommend using back stitch because that's probably the most secure stitch you can do. Which obviously take a bit longer than popping it through the sewing machine. And make sure you go quite close in this corner so that when we turn it out, turn it the right way round, there'll be a nice sharp corner. All this I'm going to be using for another project. Keep your eyes out for that one. Okay, we'll turn it the right way around. It's exciting. We're almost done, which is pretty exciting. Look how cute! Okay, so you can, if you want, finish this edge. If you've got fleece, so I could do a zigzag stitch and that would help secure it. But I don't think I really need to because I'm going to do a second fold. I'm going to finish that edge. Here we have our almost completed stocking. So what I'm going to do now, you won't need to do this on all fabrics, but because can you see how that's coming apart? I'm going to go and do a zigzag stitch along the top with my sewing machine, just to make sure it doesn't unravel. And I'm also going to attach my loop. Secure the top of the stocking. I'm going to set my machine to C, which is the zigzag, and I'm going to put it on for 3. I want it to be quite wide, and then it's got to be in this position. So my needle is over. But everyone's machine will be different. Everyone's machines will do a zigzag, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to zigzag all the way along the edge. I'm just going to zigzag all the way along the edge. Okay. See how it's going over the edge? So hopefully that'll stop it unraveling any further. Back stitch, and we're going to go all the way around. When you're sewing on the ribbon, you're going to make sure you come down maybe 6 centimeters, 5-6 centimeters, and then we're going to sew back and forth over it a good few times to make sure it's secure. And here we have the finished Christmas stocking. I think it's come out pretty cute. So where I've zigzagged over the edge, it's actually given it kind of a wavy effect, which I quite like actually. It's pretty cute. And then here I've attached a piece of ribbon, and what I've done, I've just stitched it about maybe 5 or 6 centimeters, a couple of inches down into the seam, and I've gone over it quite a few times just to make sure that it is super secure. And there we go, you can fold the edge over then. So you can use any fabric you like. Non-stretchy are probably a bit better. This might actually be a bit too stretchy, but then you know, you can get more oranges and apples and goodies from Santa into it. And there you go, one Christmas stocking. So that was how to make this fantastic Christmas stocking. I hope you're all getting excited. Any further information, please do get in touch. www.renewsocials.co.uk or RevivOL on Facebook, and the PDF will be in the notes of today's tutorial.